If you woke up this morning and asked yourself, what in the hell happened last night? You're not alone. Frank Rock did it too. And this is Frank Rock. This is the House Vern Sports Channel. I've slept on it. I've thought about it. I still have more questions than I have answers. This is Tennessee versus Arkansas the next day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for checking out the channel. Thank you for tuning in with me last night. First post game show it was a tough one to get through last night, to be honest with you. But I don't know who had more power last night. Me, who's been without power for 10 days, or this Tennessee offense. They were both pretty much non-existent. But Tennessee loses 19-14 to Arkansas. First of all, I give Arkansas credit. Honestly, it probably should have been worse. I still stick by it. I said last night, I didn't think Arkansas was that great. Maybe I'm being sore about it. Here's what you got to understand. I hate to lose. I hate to lose, but I'll give them credit. They deserve to win that football game. They were the better team last night. They shut Tennessee's passing game down. Tennessee ran the football game decent, or run the football decent last night. Good enough where it should have won the football game, in my opinion. Arkansas did. The difference was the passing game. Arkansas threw for 296, 297. Tennessee threw for 156. Tennessee was sacked 4 times. Arkansas twice on the night. You're not going to win football games doing that. If teams are coming up deciding to shut down the passing game and give Tennessee a bit of a running game, Tennessee's going to have a hard time with it. I'm going to hit some bullet points here. My first one, who's to blame for last night? I'm going to start with the obvious on that. I'm going to start with the obvious, the guy who calls the show, and I'm going to ask this question. 2 years ago, first 2 years, who was the mastermind? Who was it? Josh Heupel? Was it Alex Golesh? Or did Hendon Hooker make them all look better than they are? That's the question to me that I don't think we'll know the answer to for a bit. But I will say this. I don't know if it's Joey Halsley or Josh Heupel calling the plays. Whoever's doing it, they don't need to call them anymore after the last 2 weeks. This is inexcusable what they're doing. I don't know where this play not to lose game plan has come from. We did it last year. We're doing it again this year. Maybe Hendon Hooker was just a lot better than we give him credit for. Maybe Alex Golesh was a lot more aggressive than what we're seeing. I don't like this non-aggressive coaching staff, though, on offense. I don't like it. I don't like what I'm seeing. They set the tone early last night. I mean, maybe your offensive line is handcuffing you. Maybe your receivers, this receiving unit's supposed to be deep and good, that apparently can't get open. Or maybe it's the quarterback that's overhyped. Nico Iamaleava, ultra talented. He's 6 starts in. He's not seeing anything new, I don't think, at this point. But the fact, too, that Tennessee's coaching staff said, well, this 3-3-5 caught us off guard. You should prepare for every single defense. You should have a game plan for every defense imaginable out there to go with. Whether it's 2 tight ends, whether you go 4 or 5 wide. We heard about this. They were going to go 4 or 5 wide. They're not even doing that at the end of the game. What are we doing? What are we doing on offense? That's the question I want to ask. What are we doing? What is Josh Heupel doing? We're not using the middle of the field. Is it a combination? Is it one of 2 things, or is it a combination? Are the receivers just not getting open? Are we calling plays that are taking too long to develop? Or is it a combination of both of them? Or is our offensive line just that bad? Which I don't think we're doing what we need to do to help Nico. I will say that right now. I don't think and he's got to step up his decision making. I mean, evidenced by the end of the game. 2 times in 4 years now under Josh Heupel. I've never seen this in my life, but now I've seen it 2 times in 4 years under Josh Heupel. A quarterback from around the 20-yard line runs out of bounds to end the football game, does not even give his team a chance. For crying out loud, run toward the end zone. At least run toward the end zone. Maybe you can lateral it back or something. Who knows what happens? But you don't just run out of bounds and not give I've never seen that until 2 times now in 4 years under Tennessee. That's inexplicable, inexcusable. If anything, you run up the field and you try to lateral, or you try to do something, or you throw it, and if it gets picked off, so be it. At least give somebody a chance. You're giving nobody a chance by running out of bounds. That's inexcusable. That's inexcusable. And That should never, ever, ever, ever happen. I don't care if it's your first snap ever taken. It should never happen like that. But the last play, inexcusable. But I mean, here's the thing. Last night too, I'm putting it on the offense last night but the defense was not perfect. They gave up 7 plays of 20 plus yards last night. They still though had 7 tackles for losses. They had 2 sacks, but they gave up 297 yards passing. They gave up over 130 on the ground, which I think is respectable to an Arkansas team that runs the ball pretty well normally. Here's the big question. I mean, but this defense, too, they had a couple big 4th down stops. I don't have a problem with them letting Arkansas score at the end. Josh Heupel said they did. Because what's going to happen, Arkansas is going to run the clock down, kick a field goal to beat you, if not. Which they wouldn't have been in the position to do if not for an inexplicable penalty to start the 4th quarter where our freshman, highly talented freshman, runs into the punter, gives Arkansas a first down. They get a field goal out of it. That was a game changer. That was a game changer right there because at the end, Tennessee, let's say Arkansas does go down and score that touchdown at the end. That makes it 17-14. Tennessee could have kicked the field goal to tie it and go to overtime last night. But Tennessee was unorganized from the get-go. Too many inexcusable penalties on the night. They've got to clean it up. This has got to be a more disciplined football team. And I'll tell you, man, every year there's a red flag pops up with this coaching staff. 2021, I mean, the Purdue game, that was a red flag to me. But, I mean, in that first year, I think we were like, you know what? I think you can overlook the first year of them. But 2022 at South Carolina, I don't give a crap if South Carolina knew the plays or not. Spencer Rattler, I was at that game, was making big boy throws that night, and he owned Tennessee's defense. Tennessee's offense went for over 500 yards on that night and still got beat by, 25 points? Yeah. We can sit here and say signs all day long on it. No. South Carolina just kicked Tennessee's ass on that night. That was an inexplicable performance. Last year at Florida, to me, was the inexplicable performance. Inexcusable. Last night, they almost got out of there with that victory. Almost. And I guess Arkansas's notorious for those one-score losses. And last night they didn't do it. They made the plays. So, I'll give Arkansas the credit. They made the plays. They deserved to win that football game last night. But why does this happen every year? Why? Why does this keep happening? Dylan Sampson made comment that they were lackadaisical in the bye week. So did this team buy into all the hype, how good they are? Urban Meyer saying this is the Tennessee, old Colin Cowherd saying Tennessee's the national champions, going to win the national championship. All these teams talking about how good Tennessee is. No, it's Tennessee football. It's why Tennessee fans have BVS, because of performances like this that are, again, unexplainable, inexcusable. And I still have a lot more questions than I have answers. And I know we'll talk about it tomorrow night as whether I have power or not, as I'm on day 10 of it. We're going live tomorrow night. We're going to make it happen some way, somehow, and we're going to figure it out tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But lack of organization, with the defense, 7:20, last night was definitely the defensive backs' worst night. Missed tackles. The linebackers, I mean, they had 22 tackles between the two starters, but there were still a lot of missed tackles. Out of position. There's not a coach on that coaching staff who went and had a good night's sleep last night, or they shouldn't have. Anyway, Tennessee's got to figure out why this continues to happen. Tennessee has got to figure out this passing game. Hopefully, Brew and Squirrel are okay, as they both left injured last night. But I want to see some other guys step up other than Squirrel. I don't need to see him returning punts anymore. I'm over that one. I'm over the wide receiver screen that's getting maybe 5 yards. Again, Squirrel had 7 catches for 38 yards. That's barely over 5 yards per catch. That's not acceptable. That's not acceptable. Arkansas's guy on the other side has 9 catches for, let me pull that one back up here. 9 for 132. That's what you should do with that amount of catches, not 7 for 38. Maybe with the tight end or something, not with the wide receiver. I want to see some other guys at receivers start stepping up, or I want to see them expand those roles with it. I lost a lot of confidence in this offensive staff last night. I lost a lot. There's not a single guy. Maybe Sims, the running backs coach, can hold his head up. His running backs went for 176. Their pass protection still lacks a little bit to be desired. There's not another unit that got the job done. Offensive line was horrible. 2 games in a row now. Nico was not good. 2 games in a row. Wide receivers not getting separation, not getting open. Tight ends missing blocks. Tight ends, I want to see more than Kitzelman. There's 3 talented tight ends at least on this roster. I want to see Stays and Ethan Davis a little bit more than we're seeing them. They're going predominantly with Kitzelman. I want to see the other 2 guys a little bit more. I want to see what they can do. Kitzelman's done fine. Don't get me wrong. I'm not down. He's had a good start to the year. But I want to see the other guys too. Where are these 2 tight end sets? Where are these 4 wide receiver sets? There's no creativity. Where's the creative Josh Heupel that we had 2 years ago? Again, did it go to South Florida? Did it go to Detroit? That's my question. Because this offense I've seen for going on 2 years now, that's not the offense we saw the first 2 years. And I know personnel changes it. I know coaching changes it as well. But this was supposedly all along, well, great for Golesh, but this is Heupel's offense anyway. I don't know, man. I've got questions on it. But he better fix it. He better fix it quickly, because this is not the standard that Josh Heupel has set. He said the standard is to win SEC national championships. You're not going to do that by pissing the bed full every year on the road like they do. Every single year they've done it in at least 1 game. Where are we drawing the line if we're Tennessee? I don't like this coaching not to lose philosophy. All that does is cause you to lose football games. We got lucky against Oklahoma that our defense balled out in that game. Defense at some point is going to need some help. They needed help last night. They still may, even though they weren't perfect, even though they missed a lot of assignments, they still did enough to win that football game last night. Offense, better go look in the mirror. You supposedly got the most talented freshman there is. You've got this veteran line. You've got this deep wide receiver unit. Utilize it. Let's see it. Or else it was all a bunch of fluff. That's all it was. I'm really down. I'll say it again. I'm really down on Josh Heupel and his coaching staff. I lost a lot. And they're going to have to prove this to me the next 2 weeks to even start getting me back on board. Because I don't know how – we know how the Florida game goes. We better be prepared for a nail-biter next week. And I don't know if we can score with Alabama. And I'm not even talking about Vanderbilt at the end of the year. Okay, so we might as well get prepared for the possibility of that one after what Vanderbilt did to Alabama yesterday. I know the SEC is, man, it's knockdown, drag out this year. I know it is, but if you're a Tennessee fan, unacceptable last night. We'll attempt to answer more questions tomorrow night. I'll hopefully be able to put some more content out later today, but I'm going all in on this coaching staff. I still support them, don't get me wrong, but I'm in prove it mode now. I'm in prove it. I'm tired of singing these praises and all this. Prove it to me. Prove it to me that you're the long-term answer here at Tennessee. I'm happy with what they're done. Don't get me wrong. I'm not calling for any jobs, but I'm calling for to quit having these bedwetters every year that they're having. Thank you guys again for your support, for your patience during this time. As content's been down due to lack of power, which I'm on day 10 of now, but can continue pushing through and going on. Make sure you check out those membership tiers on here, the Patreon, or if you just want to say thanks, that super thanks. Those tips are greatly appreciated on here for the content and the work that's put into it. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. This is Frank Rock. This is the House of Orange Sports Channel. Last but most certainly not least, go Vols.